Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Walmart exclusive. It's a Walmart exclusive kind of day. Here we have the Disney Plus Hawkeye series Ronin. Again, this is a Walmart exclusive. It was from the last Walmart CollectorCon, not the one we just had, the one previous to that, and it just shipped out and arrived kind of just before Comic-Con and stuff. I think mine was shipping actually as I was in Comic-Con and arrived then. I had FedEx hold on to it until I got back. But here we have it. There's a couple of new things to this figure which I was not aware of or didn't realize. I knew we were getting the Clint Barton head sculpt, which is cool because we get a new one, and it's not exactly the same as the one that we got from the Hawkeye figure from the show. But it's nice that we kind of get like the Endgame-ish Hawkeye head. We have this one, which doesn't really show off the well, I guess it kind of does. But we got this other one with kind of the slick back hair, and it's a really good head sculpt. But not only that is that new, we get this hood down look for when it's unmasked. So this piece right here is new. I didn't realize that this came with it, and I think maybe I just was not paying attention to that, or because we got to look at the figure and it's already on there that I didn't notice. But that's a cool little attachment piece to show that, hey, he took the hood down and the mask, so you know, it makes sense because the hood was always like a separate piece that you would then like put on, right? So that's a nice little detail that we got to come with it. Like the first time for Avengers Endgame, we didn't get the unmasked head sculpt. You know, I had to kit bash one, so I have like here where I took like the jacket part off and I used the head from the 2-pack to kind of show like when him and Black Widow were on Vormir, right, to kind of give that look to Hawkeye and kind of the final battle. So, you know, that worked, but now we have, you know, a different head sculpt to kind of go along with it. I took this package out without kind of going over it. We get, you know, 3D render, Hawkeye logo, Hawkeye there, and then, you know, the look at the artwork there on the side, and of course, you know, everything that he comes with there. So here it kind of shows, you know, he has the bow and arrow in his hand. He's got the sword, he's got the other sword and the other head sculpt and things like that. I'm looking, is that the same one from the package? Yeah, that's the same one from the package. It is a different bow that from the first Ronin figure, because that first Ronin figure came with this bow here, and this is the one that was always the go-to that Marvel used, but the one that he comes with now is the same one that came with the Hawkeye figure, you know, the black and the purple. It's the same, this is the same bow here. So yes, so the Ronin figure. We've gotten lots of figures for Hawkeye, which I love. Hawkeye is my second favorite Disney Plus show. We have Kingpin still coming, and we have the Yelena figure that are still coming. We got the Tracksuit Mafia, we got the Kate Bishop, and we have the Hawkeye. So lots of Hawkeye figures, and I'm not mad at it. I really like it. I think that show has the most Disney Plus figures. Aside from What If, I think What If probably has the most, and it has too many in my opinion. But, you know, the next wave is going to have a couple more. Yeah, I want more live action stuff, and I'm not mad that we're getting more Hawkeye. Even this one, you know, not necessary that we needed it, but he did wear the suit in the show, and for me, you know, anytime we have stuff like that, I group everything kind of by show, so all my Hawkeye figures are together, so now I can add in the Ronin figure to that instead of trying to like hump down another Ronin figure from before or anything like that. I used to do that so much, I cut back on that, you know, double, tripling, because if they're in different movies, I can kind of piece them in, and I have space for all of that, but, you know, when we get a new release to do it, I'm cool with it, and I get to add it in there, and there's some new in there. And then for anybody, of course, that may have missed out on the Ronin figure in the past, this is your chance and opportunity. Okay, so getting up close, look at the Hawkeye figure there, and it looks good. Again, this is like his haircut from like Avengers Endgame, more so than like from the Hawkeye series. But I think that is a very good likeness to Jeremy Renner, which is cool. I want to kind of show you guys some of the differences between the two figures. Like if I have the hood, right? The hood is going to be painted the exact same. The figure really is painted the exact same. There's no real differences to it. The only difference that I really could spot is, you know, the silver for the zipper. On the new one, that the little zipper pull is actually gold as opposed to silver. There. This rubber material feels softer and more pliable than the previous one. So, you know, that could be a good thing to allow for maybe a little bit more flexibility. But other than that, there's really no difference to the figure at all. So, You know, there's lots of sculpted detail that I'll kind of go over. And one thing that I don't know if I ever noticed back then is right here, I don't know if that's supposed to be like more arrows or if that's going to be like another sword kind of sheath in there in the leg, or not sword, but like a knife. It has like a similar hilt to what the sword is. And, you know, we get 2 different swords, and these are the same ones that came before, but we know that like it was one sword from, or at least in the Hawkeye show, it was just the one sword, but we have the 2 different blade lengths. I don't know if one is supposed to kind of be that in the leg size-wise. It doesn't really make sense. That's just an interesting detail that I don't know if I caught before. But lots of sculpted detail, like in the legs and everything. There are pins because it is a different body. It's essentially a reissue or repaint, if you will. But there are, you know, again, some differences. The sheath there, this just buckles in the front. Like, I'm probably not going to have this one with that on there, so you can kind of see all the, like, the wrinkles in the coat and everything like that. For the sheath, you can, like, just sheath the sword in there. And you can do, like, both at a time, because that's how this one, like, I have both of the swords, because both of them, you know, came together. You can fit that. But, you know, I wanted to talk about this a little bit more. So the hood down, again, this was a new piece that you just kind of rest on there. I think that's actually a really nice touch to add that in, because, you know, he's got to take his hood down and it's got to go somewhere. It just doesn't, like, no longer exist, right? So it's there. But, you know, we get the masked head sculpt still to kind of go along with it, so we could pop that on. And then, boom, we have our head sculpt there. And this is the same head sculpt as before. It looks the exact same. The eyes and everything, they're painted similar. If anything, his eyes might be a little bit brighter on this one. Not that big of a deal. And then, you know, the hood piece, you just kind of rest that on there. And then you have, you know, Ronin in the hood. And there we go. And then I guess you could also do this, right? If he takes the hood down, he still leaves the mask on. So you could still have this look for Ronin there, which is a nice touch, again, because, you know, if you just do that, it not that it looks terrible, but you know that he's wearing a hood. So again, I just think it's actually a really nice touch to do that in something that gives us, you know, that separates this release from the previous release, and not just getting the same exact thing. But you know what, I'm going to be leaving this head sculpt on there anyway, because I think that's kind of the look that I want. If we're going to really change things up and have the same thing, you know, it's nice to get this look. Now all we need, though, from Hawkeye is an Echo figure, which we will probably get when the Echo series comes out later this year. We'll probably get a figure of Echo next year, I would assume, because Hasbro and Disney and Marvel, they're like, oh, Disney Plus, release everybody from there. And Echo's going to be the last one from Hawkeye that we still need. Okay, so let's go over articulation. The head is on a disc hinge, so Hawkeye, he can look up, he can look down, which is good. You get a full rotation in there, of course. Some neck pivot, not really a whole lot in there, unfortunately. The arm, you can get the arm to go out that much only. You can do a full rotation in there. We do get the upper bicep swivel in there. Pinned elbow, but it is double jointed. You get that much bend there. Wrist swivel, and the 2 grip hands that we have both have the standard horizontal hinge on there. I really don't want to take this jacket off because I feel like it's going to be a pain in the ass to get the jacket back on. He does have an ab crunch in there, and if you guys want to see that, you know, I have this Hawkeye here, so you can do the ab crunch. So he would be able to crunch forward only so much, you know, even without the jacket, and go back so much without the jacket. With the jacket, it's really not gonna happen. And you can't, even if the jacket is a little bit more pliable, you start to bend it, you start to get the separation in the jacket, and I really don't want that to come off and have to put that back on. It's going to be a pain in the ass. It's one of those where you pop the little rubber pegs into the peg holes, but, you know, rubber on rubber, it just gets a little tricky. There is a waist swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart. The knees are pretty gummy, though, I will say. Like, especially this right knee, that is super gummy. Left isn't as gummy, but it is still gummy. Upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinned knee. That much bend there at the knee. There is no calf swivel or boot swivel on this guy. Ay, so yeah, the knees are a bit gummy, and that sucks. Foot hinges down. A little bit of hinge up. Ankle pivot. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet. These knees. You know what? These knees are definitely a problem because they're gummy and they don't really want to work with you. So that kind of sucks. The previous one did not really have gummy knees, so That's unfortunate. But our two Hawkeye figures together, they are basically the same. Just, you know, the couple added things to the new one. You know, since being introduced to the face print tech, these are the 3 Hawkeye Jeremy Renner figures that we have. And I gotta say that this new one is gonna definitely be the best out of the bunch. Whereas this one, you know, I kind of saw it and was just okay, you know, at certain angles and stuff. Not great. It did kind of get his Mohawk weird representation from Avengers Endgame in there, but I think these two have a much better Jeremy Renner likeness, whereas this new one I think has the absolute best out of the 3. Whereas this one was still pretty good, sure, but this one I look and I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect Jeremy Renner right there. It's just, you know, the hair doesn't really match his look from the Hawkeye show. But that's definitely the Jeremy Renner there. Let's go ahead and try and see if these head sculpts can kind of swap around on these two. So that pops on there. That looks pretty good. If anything, it sits a little low on the neck. Oh, that looks like Jeremy Renner like there. Sits a little bit low on the neck, so this one's probably going to sit pretty high. Yeah, look at that. Super high on the neck, but it could work. It just doesn't really look good. And this kind of works. It makes the jacket look a little too bulky and less neck, but they do pop on there. Okay, so here are all the figures that we have actually gotten so far from the Disney Plus Marvel Studios MCU show of Hawkeye. Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, but really the Ronin persona of Clint Barton. And then we have the Tracksuit Mafia, which is technically one figure, but I bought 3 so I can have the different heads displayed and have 3 different members of the Tracksuit Mafia. So we have 6, kind of, I guess it's technically 4, but we have 2 more coming. So again, kind of the most figures out of any of the show, with the exception of What If. What If has a crazy amount of figures, so it's nice to see that one of my favorite shows is getting a great amount of figures. Loki has a bunch. Loki season 2's coming up. Hopefully we see some more figures from that. Like, Secret Invasion just happened, which sucked. I mean, the show sucked. Not that it just happened. Well, that kind of sucks that it happened as well. But we got 2 figures coming from that show. But nothing else as far as new shows. So, but again, Loki's just going to be coming out soon. Echo at the end of the year. And then, what's the other one? I feel like I'm missing one. Got Loki, Echo. Wasn't there another show? Or am I going crazy? Maybe I'm going crazy. I thought there was another show. Maybe there's not. You guys let me know down in the comments below. Am I losing it? I might be losing it. I think it is just Loki, Captain Marvel, the Marvels is coming out, and then Echo. Is there another show? I'm losing my mind. I'm going to have to check that out because I don't know. But enough of that. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of this Ronin figure? Is this one that you're picking up, or are you good with your original release in that first Avengers Endgame Thanos Build-A-Figure wave? I think this is a nice update to it. If you missed out on that Ronin figure from before, this is definitely one to pick up. If you have that other one, you probably don't need this unless you really want that Clint Barton head sculpt, because again, it is really, really good. It's essentially the same exact figure though, so don't expect differences or anything like that. The hood piece is cool. Is it necessary? Probably not, but you guys let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. And are you looking forward to the Yelena Belova figure? I really am. I think it looks really good. Even with the single jointed elbows, I'm still excited for that one. And then Kingpin, awesome that we're getting a Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin figure. I'm really excited for that. We never got one for Netflix, so at least we'll get this one for Disney Plus. So again, excited for that. You guys let me know in the comments below your thoughts on these figures. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that join button to become a channel member and be a part of the MCU Collective. Your support is much appreciated. Thank you guys. And of course, as always, thank you for watching.